Beginning. The ice storms on the third moon of Zelva Prime didn't knock first. They kicked the door down. Harsh, shrieking gales howled across the frost-covered colony, pounding against reinforced glass and steel. The temperature outside was cold enough to freeze exposed flesh in seconds. And yet, even in this brutal winter, someone was knocking at my door. I was one of the few humans stationed here. Just me and the maintenance outpost AI, Athena. The colonists had been evacuated 2 cycles ago when a tectonic fault ruptured under the nearby geothermal power grid. But I stayed. Some said it was because I was stubborn. Truth is, I owed my brother. He died during the first collapse. I needed to make sure the outpost remained operational long enough to extract what data was left. So when I heard that knock, I thought it was a malfunction. Wind slamming debris or maybe a hallucination after another night of no sleep. But then it came again, 3 firm, deliberate knocks. I unlatched the blast-sealed airlock and peered through the observation port. It was a Zalari woman. Her fur was caked in frost. Her arms wrapped around 2 small figures huddled in an emergency blanket. Her yellow eyes locked onto mine, and though she didn't speak, her expression said everything. "Let us in," it begged. "Or we die out here." Against every protocol in the book, and there were many, I hit the door release. The wind howled as the lock depressurized, and in stumbled the alien mother and her 2 cubs. They collapsed on the floor, trembling. I sealed the door shut behind them. "I'm Lieutenant Alex Reeve," I said, kneeling to check their vitals. "You speak standard." The mother nodded weakly. "Valira. My name is Valira." I retrieved heated blankets, water, and rations. The cubs, barely half her size, ate with cautious, quick movements, their ears twitching at every sound. Valira didn't eat. She only stared. Then finally she spoke again. "I will share your bed, human," she said, voice cracked from the cold. "Just ensure my children survive." Middle. I didn't answer her offer. Not because I was offended. Her species wasn't unknown to human intimacy, especially during long, isolated assignments. But this wasn't a negotiation. It was desperation. The storms wouldn't let up for another 2 cycles. At least a week standard. No supply drones, no rescue. Just me, a half-operational outpost, 1 alien widow, and her 2 freezing children. "I don't want anything from you, Valira," I said gently. "You're safe here." That night, she slept in the corner, curled protectively around her cubs like a living barrier against the world. I gave them the only functioning heating panel and kept watch with my rifle on my lap and a tablet blinking with warning signals. The next morning, Valira helped me repair the filtration system. She worked with precision, barely needing instructions. When I asked, she told me her late mate had been an engineer. "He died when the geothermal plant failed," she said. "So did our village. The wind burned everything." I remembered the reports. Dozens of Zalari families had fled the collapse, but many perished in the wilds. Their fur wasn't enough. Their shelters collapsed. Survival rates were brutal. Her eyes glistened, but she didn't cry. "I carried my young through storms. I lost 2. These are the last." The cubs, Lake and Syrah, began warming up to me. Syrah drew pictures on the dusty floor. Moons, creatures, and oddly, a stick-figure human with spiky hair, me. Lake followed me around with wide eyes, mimicking my movements. Athena, the outpost AI, flagged me with a message. "New directive. Unregistered alien lifeforms present. Emergency notification to Sector Command recommended." I overrode it. I wasn't reporting them. That night, I sat with Valira on the floor, sharing a meal of nutrient bars and reheated stew. Her fur had regained some color, her breathing no longer labored. We didn't talk much. But then she leaned in, her hand resting lightly on mine. "Where I come from," she said softly. "A male who saves your young becomes part of your story." "I'm no hero," I said. "No," she agreed. "But you are kind. And that matters more." By the third day, the children laughed again. We fashioned toys out of scrap wire and empty canisters. I taught Lake how to say engineer, and he taught me how to pronounce Shashara, their word for a protector with no blood ties. Apparently, I had earned the title. Valira cooked for us using traditional spices she carried in a weatherproof pouch around her neck. She smiled more. So did I. One evening, as we prepared to seal the outpost for another temperature drop, I noticed her staring out the observation port at the swirling storm. "They'll come," she whispered. "The raiders. Zalari who prey on other survivors." I'd heard rumors. Desperate survivors forming predatory bands. Not exactly pirates, but close enough. It made sense in a way. When society fractures, not everyone builds shelters. Some break into them. "How do you know?" "Yes. Because they followed me before. They will smell warmth." I sent. "My children's." I checked our defenses. Not good. I had a single functioning turret, half a dozen charge packs, and reinforced doors. But if they came in numbers, we were done. Ending. They came on the sixth night. I woke to Athena flashing red. Motion detected, 6 hostiles. Armed. Through the view feed I saw them. Tall Zalari males with ice-hardened armor, crude weapons, and a look of hunger in their eyes. Valira grabbed her children and hissed softly. "They won't leave unless they taste blood." "I'm not letting them take you," I said, loading my last plasma rifle. She looked at me. "You would die for cubs not your own." "I said you were safe here." I meant it. We barricaded the children in the storage bay and waited. When the first raider tried breaching the east door, I triggered the turret. One down. Then they came in waves. Kicking, slashing, trying to burn through the weak points. I held them off one by one, my rifle overheating, my body aching from every jolt of recoil. Then I was out of ammo. A towering Zalari male burst through the side hatch, roaring with triumph, until Valira tackled him mid-leap, driving a salvaged blade into his throat. Blood steamed on the floor. Her eyes glowed with fury. "I will not lose more family," she growled. The remaining 2 raiders fled into the storm. When silence returned, I slumped against the wall, vision blurred. A long gash ran along my ribs, hot and deep. Valira bound it quickly, her hands trembling. "You stayed," she whispered. "You fought for us." Lake and Syrah emerged slowly, blinking, silent. "We're all right," I said, gripping her hand. "You're safe." Weeks passed. The storms broke. A rescue team finally arrived, human and Zalari alike. The outpost was reclassified as a civilian sanctuary. Valira and her children were granted full protection status under interspecies law. But they didn't leave. They stayed. They stayed. When they offered her a new home in the Capitol Dome, she turned to me and asked, "Will you come with us?" I looked at the place that had become something strange and precious. Home, not because of walls, but because of the lives inside them. Yes. Now, every night, Valira sleeps beside me. Her warmth wrapped around me like a living memory of survival. Lake builds tiny machines with me. Syrah sings songs in 2 languages. And sometimes, when the cold wind howls through the walls of our new dwelling, she whispers again.